That's helpful. You know what? I like.
You know, it's not. It doesn't monetize you at all.
I like how we marched up to this. I think it's the 21st, December 21st, the shortest day of the year, and then from that point on,
December 21st.
sorry, what did I say?
Anyway.
Sorry, December is what I meant to say. And then we start getting like, so it gets kind of dark and dreary up to then, but then every day gets longer and longer and longer as we get into the colder weather. So it gets a little bit more tolerable in the winter as we go through. But I can't believe we're starting that March already. I saw a sign for snow removal on the weekend when I was driving to see my mom. I was like, come on, that's way too early. Like right now it's.
Hey, I was talking to someone in Alberta today. They've already had snow.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That stinks. Well, let's just go around the room. Just like it's been a little bit since we said hello to each other. Just you don't have to say. So maybe give a quick little reminder who you are, what you do, really quick. Most of us remember who you are, but if you could think of one little thing you're working on this last quarter, go ahead. If you don't have anything, just skip that part. I'll start up. I'm Richard. I do digital transformations. My thing, helping companies use software to better their processes as they grow between 10 and 50 employees. What I've been working on is trying to bite-size my first offer, like just trying to package up something that's accessible to anybody, right? So there's like it lowers the risk of testing out my service. So they're playing around with different questionnaires and audit types just to get going. So I'm just gonna go around in random order. I won't. I was like, right, but Linda just popped in, so I won't do that to her. I'll go.
Hey, Richard, is there some backup or some noise coming from someone's? It sounds like it's.
Yeah, maybe just mute everybody until you're talking. That'll probably cut that out. There we go. Oh, maybe not. I think it might be Robert. I just see a little mic.
Oh, I'm the guy. Hold on. Let me fix that.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, Vanessa, go ahead.
Sorry, you say me?
Yeah, Vanessa. Sorry.
Okay, so I'm just doing a quick intro and then talking about something we worked on in the last quarter.
Yeah, anything new. If you got anything new, what you're working on, that's something you're testing out, trying something different, kind of gives us a little bit more of a background what you're into. So go ahead.
Sure. So I'm Vanessa Green. I'm the owner of Greenlight Content. It's a boutique content marketing and copywriting consultancy based in Hamilton. Just celebrated 5 years in business, which is very exciting. I predominantly do long form, so things like website copywriting, blog writing, case studies, email marketing, brand messaging strategy. I just got a new client a couple months ago, and we did a full brand messaging strategy project. And then we moved into website copywriting, which is like kind of my favorite way to do it, because I feel like you get a really strong sense of the business. You understand their objectives, their audience, spend a lot of time putting that together. And then once you start on the website, it's almost kind of easy because you already have all of that foundational information. And yeah, it was a really cool project to work on. I think the website's hopefully going live next week. Yeah, it was a nice, like big project for me. And the client was wonderful. And it's been like, really interesting, business to work on. So yeah, that was kind of my thing for this quarter.
I like that. Going back to traditional, plus it allows you to launch in different other areas too. You just get a good insight of the company. So Brian's been in hiding on an island just outside of Madagascar. And he's been busy doing something. Brian, what have you been up to? What do you do for a living as well? So,
okay. Hey guys, Brian here. I'm a CPA. I own my own practice. And the last 3 months, I have been away from work. I went to visit family in Mauritius, which is where I'm from and where my wife is from. So we were there for 2 whole months. The fun side of things, I got my rescue diver course. So I'm fully certified as level 3. That was fun. Lots of sharks, lots of cool stuff in the water. I've also been writing a book. So I published it the last couple of days. It's called Tax Court Tales.
Nice. I like the cover too.
Thank you. It was years in the making of accumulating lots of cool court cases over the years and what CRA has done to those poor taxpayers. So I'll post a link afterwards for anyone who wants to take a read. It's a really good read, and I've gotten lots of good feedback so far.
I like the case study angle of it. If it's like if you're going to showcase your story through others' stories and stuff like that, that'll be exciting. Because taxes is not super exciting, but I can see how there could be elements of storytelling to share and learn on that. So I'm excited about that as well. And
I was going to say I was gonna say if they're in the book, they can't be poor.
Yeah, true. True. Yeah, it's true.
Well,
Yeah,
you-
yeah.
People don't get in books.
Yeah, but
Well,
it's a
congrat-
cool read. It's a very easy read. I mean, yeah, something
And did
that
the last 2 months help you wrap it up? Was that like the icing on the cake to just kind of focus and dig in?
Oh, for sure. The whole summer I was proofreading it. I was, spending lots of time to edit it and gather feedback and a lot of cool stuff. And the last 2 or 3 weeks was full on ramping up with the publishing side and doing final edits. It takes a lot of time to publish a book, surprisingly. But hey, the result is out, and I'm super excited about it.
How did you run your practice for 3 months?
Self-run, basically. I've got staff, and I've taken a bunch of calls. It wasn't totally offline type of thing, but it was pretty smooth. I was closing deals. I was still going on calls for emergencies type of thing, but other than that, it went well.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to do a deep dive, and now you got something to launch off of, like other content marketing and stuff, initiatives and
That's
speaker
amazing, yeah.
engagements and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
good for you, Christina.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you all. Yeah, I think I've met most of you, but I do Google Ads, AI search, and SEO. And what has been keeping me busy? Well, obviously, AI is impacting everything, probably like a lot of our businesses. So yeah, I did a big presentation last week on AI and search and some best practices, and I'm doing another one next week to Canadian Women as organization. So yeah, that's definitely keeping me busy. Plus client work. Yeah, that's me.
Not to put you on the spot, but how much is the term, and I just learned this term recently, AEO, popping into the conversations now? So
Well, I don't know if it's popping necessarily from clients into conversations, but that definitely was part of the presentation I did, referring to AEO, which I think is a term that a lot of people hadn't necessarily heard. So yeah, most definitely.
interesting. It's changing everyone's world. My wife is totally non-technical in the social services field and is using it now just to keep pace, right? Like with case management and whatnot, just like writing reports and tracking notes and taking. So it's like, hopefully it'll be a game changer for a lot of people. The Adam's got some non-work related news, which makes him a different person altogether, and stuff. So what else is going on? So tell us about yourself, Adam, first, then you can share the good news.
Sure. So I am Adam. I'm a software developer based in Hamilton, Ontario. It's been a heck of a year. I have purchased a house. I just got married last weekend, and we have our first little one on the way.
Oh, wow. You didn't
So,
drop
yeah.
that other. Holy
Yeah.
cow. Congratulations.
So it's been a
Nice.
big year.
Excellent.
Work-wise, I've had an interesting last couple months. Been working on a platform that I inherited after a developer disappeared on the company. They just kind of went missing in action, as sometimes people do. So it's been interesting picking up a half-completed project that has been, I think, 3 years in the making, and trying to drag them across the finish line in a few weeks. So it's been a fun challenge.
That's tricky stuff. As a kid, I worked as an apprentice carpenter. I remember it was just me and my mentor, I guess, or whatever, the contract carpenter. We picked up a project from somebody else, and nothing was on angle. Nothing was built to spec. It was an architect trying to be a carpenter. It was just like it was really tricky to, like, you don't want to be constantly bringing bad news to your client, but without kind of divulging some stuff, you kind of put yourself behind the 8 ball. So it could be exciting. Like you could be building off a really good start that who knows why it didn't finish. But could be soft blocking as well. So congrats on that.
It was interesting as I couldn't handle or answer the question of how close is it to being done, because everything was like partially done. And there was no indication about what was half done, what was quarter done, what was not started. So it's been quite the discovery process and a lot of testing.
Yeah, can imagine. Dorothy.
Hey everybody. Well, been up to a lot of things. So I just launched my I shifted a little bit in terms of some audience targeting, and I just launched my AI Shiro Advantage workshop last week. I have a webinar coming up next week as well. So that's what I've been working on. And actually, speaking of AEO, answer engine optimization, I just wrote an article today that's on LinkedIn. It's a 1,200-word article, and it actually gives you what you need to do. So if anybody's interested in how the lay of the land, what that looks like, the terminologies, what you can do, and this is based on 2 articles that I came across and I thought I would break down and share. It's the Search Engine Journal and one with Outer Box that breaks down the stats and some some anecdotes. But what I did was to just tell you how you can become AIO or AEO ready. I've been getting really good feedback on it from the comments that this is really extensive, and they like the fact that it's a how. So this is not to suggest, I'm any expert, but I have an article that if you all want to read how you can get ahead of this thing, I think it gives you a good overview of what you can get done now. So for me too, I am definitely going to be the shoemaker that has the shoes. I'm going to be working on my AEO as well. So those are some of the things that I'll be pursuing as well. So my Shiro workshop and definitely getting my site in place for AEO and AIO.
Excellent. It's nothing like an article to really dive into, almost do a little bit of self-learning as well as educating. So it's a great approach.
Yeah.
Marino. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Perfect. Hey guys, I'm somewhat new. I probably signed up a month or so ago, but been dealing with a 92-year-old father, so personal as well as business can be pretty stretched out. What I do basically is provide, in a nutshell, photography and videography. The concept really is to obviously provide some high quality visual content for businesses, individuals. Obviously make that effective and show your brand and your the message you're trying to get out to people out that way. Located in Burlington. I'm probably going to be sitting back trying to get to know you guys and make some notes as to who and what you do over the next few meetings, so that way kind of sinks in. But I'm looking forward to the group, and again, thanks to Robert for bringing this to my attention, and obviously Richard to let me join. So we'll see you guys soon.
Excellent. Thanks, Marino. And good luck with your parents. I think you said dad. I had dad in my mind because I'm looking after my father's going through the same, not as old as yours, but I tell you, when I go golfing with my friends, we talk about 2 things: our teenage and adult sons and daughters, for some case, and our parents, and we share feedback on both, and it's always a learning experience every time we go. So,
absolutely.
yeah, the journey. Trevor.
Perfect.
Sorry, the mic wouldn't turn on or turn on. Hi, Trevor Stuke, Agenda Marketing out of Hamilton. A lot of Hamiltonians in the group tonight or today. And we are full service little agency who uses mostly contractors for the people who support us. Working on a whole bunch of projects right now, one of which is a major school, one of the top 5 schools in Canada, putting together a program to help their co-op students get hired out in the marketplace. So that's an example of a project that we are working on right now, keeping you really busy. So,
that's exciting. It's a tough world for them right now. So it's a good worthy cause right now. Eden.
Hi everybody, I'm Eden Spodek, based in Toronto, and I run a digital marketing agency, Spodek & Co. And today is the 15th anniversary, and I've written a LinkedIn article talking about that. And I highly recommend that everybody read Dorothy's article. It's very good. And yes, so I will second that. In terms of what else I've been doing, fortunately, well, I want to knock wood, but things have been ramping up on the marketing side, which is great. And I went from not doing much in terms of presentations and being very happy to be kind of behind the scenes to this fall between September and next month, which culminates next month in in-person events. I'm actually involved in 3 virtual speaking engagements and 3 in-person ones that are all the in-person are next month at 2 different conferences. So that's, that plus the usual work is what's keeping me busy right now.
Excellent. Well, that's good to be busy, especially this time of year. It's perfect.
I was
That's up
busy.
for next.
I was busy, but not with the
Yeah,
big
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And one of the other things that's just a quick thing, tagging on the AI thing, is I have been working hard to create some AI agents that will help me be more productive isn't the right word, more efficient in some of the work that we're doing. So I've been creating some things for learning purposes for external people, and now I'm into let's see what we can do to make our processes more efficiently internally. So
Perfect.
that's
And
been,
thanks for the link, Dorothy. I'm going to put a link to Brian's book too, where you can get it. I'll put it in the share thread. If you haven't done, unless Brian, you've already done that, because we know we were talking about that earlier. But also it'll be on the recording too, if you guys want to track that. Robert.
Hello, everyone. I am Robert. My company's Inspiring Design. I think I've met most of you anyway, but go through this field. First of all, nice to see you here, Marino. Yeah, for sure. It's a great group. So what have I been up to? A couple of weeks ago, I'm a graphic designer, web designer. So that's my company. A couple of weeks ago, I went to the Design Thinkers Conference in Toronto. Probably the leading graphic design related conference in Canada, at least. Lots of great inspiration for sure. It's always nice to get together with your peers, especially when you're working from home and kind of isolated a little bit in that way. So that was great. One thing I'm kind of playing around with, I've got access to like a suite of tools, some things that I could offer my clients after I'm done branding and a website, maybe some other tools that I can kind of offer them that would empower them to kind of do some of their own marketing, things like generating referrals or testimonials on Google. I have an AI chatbot, which I'm testing on my own website right now. So you train it on your own business and you train it on your website. It can answer questions for prospects, and it actually is geared to try to get the person's email address. So things like that, trying to expand my services to things that are manageable for myself and perhaps get a little bit of recurring revenue into the system when I'm done a branding or website project.
No, I like that. Trying to extend a project into a retaining or recurring sort of relationship and business too.
I currently have I do hosting, I do maintenance plans for websites, but it kind of ends there, and I want to see what else I can offer clients.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I do.
Hi guys, most of you know me, but for those of you who don't, I'm also a CPA, Canada, US. Got my own little practice. And the past 3 months have been status quo. You guys have had a more exciting life than I have, so it kind of makes me jealous. I can't lie. But yeah, nothing exciting to report, fortunately, unfortunately.
That's good. I mean, and you're starting to ramp up now, I think, end of the quarter.
Yeah, it's getting busy now.
So.
As soon as Labor Day ends, it gets busy.
Yeah. So you got to kind of work yourself mentally and physically, get ready for that kind of craziness.
Yeah.
Good. Linda.
Hello, everyone. It's good to see you all. My name is Linda Kern. My company is the Kern Group, and I am a consultant to organizations around sales and business development, which involves all kinds of different things, one of which is a fractional head of sales. Of late, last month, 2 opportunities came to me for sales training, which is actually how I started my business. Started doing a bunch of sales training with a bunch of teams, and then it kind of morphed into other types of consulting. So I put in 2 proposals in September for doing some sales training. So both have been following. Both of them I've been following up diligently and just waiting for them to make a decision.
Oh, nice. So going back to the roots, basically, which is
Yeah.
that's a nice feeling, actually. It kind of corresponds to what Vanessa is saying, kind of going back to the way we were supposed to be doing things, right?
Yeah.
So excellent. So that's good. Thanks for sharing, guys. I picked up on a couple of themes here. We can kind of dig a little bit deeper in here. There's something about retrenching, kind of doing a little bit of reflecting and then coming out of that. I think about Brian in his book, think about Vanessa, and like having the ability, having a client give you the grace to kind of dig in and start from a logical spot. Those kind of themes seem to be at play. There's obviously, you can't really escape anything without talking about AI and any implications of AI. So that's gonna infiltrate a lot of the conversations. For me, what I'm seeing is the need for systems integration. Like, I mean, it's really just like if analytics is important and having a good read, you always hear data driven this, data driven that. It's really hard to have good data without being fully integrated or just making good choices in systems. It reminds me of a couple of podcasts I listened to. Both cases were interviewing founders, entrepreneurs, like founders, big ones. One of the guys let me back up. Founders that were designers by nature, and by design, don't just mean like design by look and feel, but designing systems and designing with intention, right? So one of them was the founder of Figma, and most recently I listened to a talk of and the guy from Airbnb does a lot of talks, and it was interesting for them. Not only they called out this design, that they are uniquely design-led founders, whereas others might be engineer-driven or business-driven or financially driven, tends to be a lot of the CEOs. So it was interesting to hear the perspective and where they see the future going in terms of like, with AI, it's going to be prominent throughout everything, but having like a captain at the wheel to kind of guide and direct and understand how you're using it, that comes back to kind of a lot of things we traditionally do, like going back to the basics, right? Like, hey, like Linda talked about training, sales training as getting in the door, like fundamentals, right? Talking about starting with the brand and the purpose of the organization before you start talking about an organization. Like come into some of the, remembering some of the methodologies that you use that make you more successful in your approaches. I mean, getting that, it's hard to get that off the launch when there's 2 situations where I think it's really hard. A, you're really busy and you're almost turning into order taking because you're just kind of pulling things in, trying to keep track of things. And other times are when things aren't very busy. And again, you're kind of like feeling lucky and grateful for getting work. And you're willing to kind of let the client dictate how things start a little bit. But it's nice to be able to kind of like back up, reset things to get things going off in the right direction. I feel like the end of the year, I don't know if it's just me, I've always been in organizations where fall is a huge component. It really talks about how you're going to end the year, has a lot of implications of what budgets will look like for the upcoming year. So it's a really kind of a critical moment for a lot of organizations, and a lot of, you're coming off a summer of maybe, slowing down and thinking a lot. And then like, okay, now you're trying to put things into action. And so I hear a lot of that and what you guys are talking about. So that sounds really good. Anything else on that? Anything else? What did you hear that kind of stood out for you guys of what others are up to? Doing a really awkward pause here.
I think he captured a
Maybe
lot of
just-
it.
Okay, able to keep quiet.
Maybe just following up on that point, Richard, like I find getting some time to get out of the office, get out of your normal day to day, and just have some time away from technology to think about things from afar, get that perspective. What are the things you still like doing? What are the things that you're good at? And reflecting once you get back to the office on those are the things that I should focus on. Those are the things I'm good at, versus the kind of you just get on autopilot after a while of just doing the things. So I think changes of seasons are time for that, long weekends. But yeah, just remind everybody to do that once in a while.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Airbnb, he talked about, building communities, but like building away from technology, which sounds odd because they're a technology launching company, like in how to get communities. Like he talked about, like, his first initiative in Airbnb was inviting 3 people to stay at his house on his air mattresses, like hence the air part of B&B, and like how that evolved and how important it is to like get off the screens, get off the glasses and think. I also heard, like, just little things like when you're meeting with people, staff or clients, like there's something about walking side by side. So going on a walk, right? Like a walking meeting is really popular. If you're a coach, I know a lot of coaches, I don't know if you've tried the walking meetings, because there's something about not facing, like if you ever had long drives with family, you get the little good conversations because you're not facing each other, right? There's something about that. I don't know what that is, but there's something about that initiates conversation. But I like that. Like,
We had to do that as part of our coach training that I did.
oh, nice. Did
Yeah.
they get it?
I didn't love it. We did it well. Like it went well.
You didn't love it. Why not? What was it? What about it you didn't?
This is going to sound really weird. As somebody who grew up tethered to my telephone with a cord, the old days, I don't love talking on the phone today. I would much rather be in front of a screen or in person or texting.
Yeah.
Which I know might sound counter. I wouldn't want to be texting for coaching. I just think it's really, there is an advantage that coaches have when they're on a phone because nobody sees your facial expressions, which is a good thing because you don't want your client seeing you. You don't want to show any judgment. On the flip side, as a coach, I like to have that rapport with the people I'm coaching or mentoring. And I like to see their facial expressions because I find it's really telling. So, I mean, as a coach, you can show facial expression, just not if it's judgmental from leadership coaching. So that's kind of my thing. And I mostly just talk on, old school phone calls if somebody for a work relationship is very insistent that that's what they want, or close family members. That's it. I'm not a big phone person anymore.
Yeah, that's interesting too. That is interesting. And
A little bit to the point of even going off of Adam's thing about reflecting, though. I feel like there is a point for this in everything, and the importance of reflecting. And even almost tying it back to the AI side for a sec. I was in a meeting a couple days ago where someone wasn't part of the meeting, but they threw in their note taker, which kind of seemed a little bit odd. I sort of feel like if you're part of the meeting, then have it, but otherwise not. But then after the meeting, everyone, and there's a good 20 people in the meeting, got a summary of not only the main meeting room, but all of the individual breakout rooms and all the conversations. And so, which was very odd, but I just feel like it's a little bit to the point that people aren't necessarily reflecting that if someone's having a one-on-one conversation, would they in general, whether it's an AI note taker or not, what someone else, and then that transcribed to the whole group. And like some of those personal conversations were like sent out to everyone. So I just feel like people aren't kind of stopping to think about how, I don't know, just little things like that is propagated in so many different ways.
those note takers I didn't know they could go through the breakout rooms. I don't think Gemini does that, at least from what I've seen. It doesn't do it. But I had that happen to me. I was
Checking.
just catching up. I work with one of the partners at Northern a lot, and we don't talk all the time. We had a couple of minutes ahead of getting on earlier the call. We had a quick chat, sharing personal stuff and updates. And then we got on the call and everybody had an update, and we didn't really need to have it to go further. And then that went out to everybody. So basically 90% of the notes taken was our personal catch up. And it was like, oh God, that's not, I felt a little uncomfortable about that because it's like, just like a one-on-one moment. Not that we shared anything private or anything like that, but it was just like, oh God, like it's like my notes, my thoughts went out without me capturing
Yeah.
it.
Well,
Yeah,
and
I
then
find that
sometimes there's
annoying.
hallucinations or bad
Yeah.
attributions. Like in mine, this woman was talking about her involvement in the National Menopause Show, which is great. And she was like explaining some things. But then when it came out, it was like, oh, Christina was talking about her kids' involvement in the National Menopause Show. I'm like, okay, this is sort of interesting. And then I'm like, I wanted to fine if that is out there, but it's just, yeah, it's not, it doesn't always capture everything accurately either.
Yeah, and I do use note taking. I don't use I think it's Firefly. That's the one that really launches. There's a couple that launch matter if you join the call or not, and they jump on early. So that whenever I talk to people that are using that when they don't know how to turn it off and they've been not using it, so I use them I use notes because there's a couple of clients I have that will share like they're talking. They're more verbal than they are any other way. So there's often really important things that they remember that I have to catch. So the notes can help me make sure I don't lose any of that. But yeah, it's been interesting. So interesting. Go ahead, Dorothy.
And I think this is why the human oversight is so important when it comes to AI, right? My mantra is we can't outsource our intelligence or our common sense to AI. And you do have the opportunity to go in and edit these notes. So in your case, Richard, you could probably have taken that out and for you, Christine. So again, my feeling is technology is to serve humanity and not the other way around. And that's where the human oversight really, really comes in.
Yeah, it goes back to that sort of what I was saying is thinking, living with design, right? And having design meaning like intention of how you're using those tools. I feel like somebody like Christina, I'm pointing at you, Christina, so like I have to say your name. I just have no idea. But you're in the field and you've always been in that field that is like front burner, right? Like when things are changing, it's right there and it's changing and everybody's learning about it and hearing about it. And like, it's like, I feel like it's almost intimidating that you got to try to keep up at such a pace. But then does that get you going in a movement, an emotion that you never get a chance to stop, put the brakes on? Well, I guess you got to do that. And like, cause you got to evaluate all these bells and whistles, right? And, and really make sense of it and feed back on it. But I feel for you in that industry because it seems like you're always on the cutting edge of whatever is going on, right? So
hey, that's exciting though. Like,
yeah.
that it invigorates me. So that's why people go into different fields. Yeah.
I heard a couple of things from, and not speaking about really new stuff. I kind of half heard, I was listening to CBC. I listen to it when I do my exercises in the morning. And so I'm like half hearing, half paying attention. They're talking about automating tax. I don't know if it's tax collection tax. You're doing your taxes for low income workers and whatnot. They talk about introducing that in the CRM because the one reason was a lot of them, either for whatever reason they aren't reporting. This is personal income tax more than anything, right? They aren't reporting, and that gets them out of the system for a lot of different beneficial awards. So like, how do we automate that? And I know whenever I'm doing my bloody taxes, I'm always thinking like, why the hell is this not like automated or easier to do? But did you guys hear anything like that, or am I kind of like half hearing something? I might have even heard anything correctly.
Yeah. So if I could chime in here, so the practice started in UK. It's actually been going on for a few years now, and it seems to be kind of successful. But the only issue is that so let's say if someone works from home, right? They're making, I don't know, let's say they're underneath the threshold, make 50, 60K. I don't know what the threshold is, but you're underneath the threshold, you're working from home. Now, all the CRA knows that your T4 was 60K, your RSP deduction was $5,000, and it does your taxes, right? But the fact that you worked at home would entitle you to further deductions. And the CRA actually ends up saving because people don't know about this. So yes, you're saving, a few $100s by not filing your taxes, but you might be giving the government more money than, what you should be. So it's good, but it's also not good for certain people.
Yeah, 100% understand that. It's interesting that they're, as regulatory services change how things go, that, it's going to change how your business could potentially work. Could be beneficial. Like, take some of the work off the table. Could be challenging.
It won't apply to us because we're entrepreneurs. We all have corporations or proprietorships, but these are for T4 individuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the guy who works at Tim Hortons has to go to work. That's fine. For him, it's fine, right? But for someone who has a desk job in their home office, they're going to get screwed.
Yeah. losing a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is new? What else has been on the forefront? Like, Marino, like you probably, like, what's changed in your world recently that's made you kind of stop and change your process? Has it ever stopped and rechange? There's things that can be so new, it almost like it makes you want to rethink your positioning, right? And some things like just to re-entrench your positioning. Anything in your world and video and whatnot?
Yeah, actually, I done a couple events this past couple of weeks. One was International Peace Festival, and that was like a 3 or 4 day event. And even though I'm pretty tame in the amount of images I take, like I know guys that are there and they're like machine gun photography, they're going through 5,000 images per day kind of a thing. I'm not that bad, but I had reached out to a software AI company. I think they were giving out like 1,000 free edits, and so I gave it a try. It'll automatically crop images. If you're using it on a constant basis, it'll kind of learn your editing. But since I was a newbie, it provided kind of like some templates as to what you want the image to kind of look like. And you upload them, push a button, literally a half hour later, you get back your 1,000 images. And overall, like I'd say 90%, I felt were quite good. It's automatic to see if you wanted to have the person looking at the camera, if the eyes were open, if the image itself was in focus or not. The cropping was actually pretty good. It could diversify from understanding what the main subject matter was in that picture and kind of cut out the noise. So an AI in that aspect of it, like that probably saved me half a day to a full day of going through, let's say, 2,000 images, determining out of those what thousands I liked, and redefining, the quality in it. So that's cool. Long term, I guess the challenge in our industry is probably going to be, can Joe Schmuck, who has a camera, go out, take a picture, and AI will then determine, well, this image needs this to make it good, and do all that automatically. So like anything, if you don't have the experience or creativity, how much of AI can do that, we'll see. And another aspect, I just, oh my God, maybe a week or two ago, I'm not sure if many of you know of Howie Mandel, but I was able to shoot him recently in St. Catharines. And although I didn't take 1,000 images of him, I saw the importance of identifying key moments in that performance, and again, spending manual time cropping, editing. But the end result to me was a lot more satisfying than, here's 1,000 basic images, AI, do what you got to do. Yeah, that's pretty good. Done, right? So yeah, that's my experience with AI recently.
Oh, interesting. Go ahead, Edie.
A question from Marino. As someone whose son just got married, congratulations to you, Adam. I now have 2 groups of, one of almost 1,500 and another group of over 1,000 photos to sort through, mostly the 1,500, because we've got all the digital and then can decide what we want to do. The kids are doing their thing, her parent, whatever. Is there an easy way to go through them? Because I've just taken everything off the photographer's website to try and archive and sort them my own way, but it's taken forever. So I would love to know, because it also will help for work. Like, what, I don't know if you can share tools of the trade, and I'm not trying to bypass him, but I'm like, oh my goodness, how am I going to go through, 1,500 photos?
Yeah, I'll search it up and I'll try to put it in the text. If it doesn't work, I'll definitely email it to you. But the company I had used was called Imagine. So I think it was IMAGEN.
Okay, I can look that up.
Okay.
You could, if you remember it, Marino, we have a share thread that you can just plop it in there. This is what we were talking about, kind of thing.
Okay.
And then everybody can benefit from this. So that would be good.
Yep.
I think about so you remind me a couple of things there. I think about the I myself have been thinking about the do-it-yourselfer, and because I often think, I wonder how much of my work is being taken by the do-it-yourself. Is that a bad thing or is that a good thing, right? But you could still be, what I was thinking is guiding the do-it-yourselfer, right? Because it's a thought leadership position, and it just shows that they know, and it becomes a resource, right? And then there's something about, you have to be careful of this, because you talk about the innovator's dilemma, where you don't want to lose the bottom side of your business, right? But have you guys struggled with that as well? But I think we also have somebody. No, do you guys struggle with the do-it-yourselfer and what to do? Like if you're a consultant and the worry of in a sales call, you're getting quizzed for free information and what to do. But I think about it as how to support that do-it-yourselfer, which would be your bottom end of your market, to showcase your thought leadership, maybe to steer somebody, like in Vanessa's case, how to start things properly. You guys run into that do-it-yourselfer, like how to work with that audience? Any thoughts on that?
I can tell you what I've done. So a couple things. First of all, the real DIY person isn't necessarily going to be my consulting client. I know that they're not going to want to invest the money. They're not going to want to invest the time. They're not going to understand no matter what. And I see head shaking. So what I did create, which I'm not promoting as much as I should, and I've piloted it and went very well, and I have 2 versions, and it's constantly in a state of update, is a DIY program to help people create their online awareness. So it's mostly for, I have one strictly for coaches, and I have another one for small business, and it's more of a mastermind because I'm there. So I meet with them, we talk about certain things, we do certain exercises, they go away, they can continue to do the work or not. I've actually created a GPT within Chat GPT so they can have a personalized experience doing it. And then it tells them, okay, what you're asking for goes beyond kind of the DIY. Talk to Eden, you may want further help there. But it's a disqualifying mechanism. I know if they're coming to me and they can't invest, then I don't mind helping them a little bit, as long as I'm not giving away the farm. You know when you're talking to somebody how much you can give away comfortably.
Yeah.
And a lot of them I found people who think, oh, I can do all this myself. What I'm finding, and it was very similar to what happened 20 odd years ago with social media, they're coming around and saying, yes, the tools are there. I don't have the time to either do it myself because I'm already doing all these other things. Now I've got to add a layer, and it sounds interesting, but I don't have the time, or I don't have enough background knowledge and context to know if what I'm getting out of this is really helpful. And so I just, I have a client I just did a strategy for who's come back to me and said, okay, I need to hire you to do X, Y, and Z. So she went off on her own.
True.
She had the budget.
It can be a lead gen, as she's saying. And I agree. The same thing is that you can offer a few hours of consulting to someone and kind of help them be able to do it. And then, either which way, if you have capacity, then it allows you just to have a few hours of consulting and that. So I would agree.
Manu, I don't know if this is an intention, but your YouTube videos answer a lot of the questions that you would normally get, or maybe people would be sheepish to ask you. Is that sort of a do-it-yourself or helper, or you don't really see it like that, or?
Well, how YouTube's helped me, it's I'll speak to a client, and then once we realize what their issues are, I'll say, you know what, I made a video on this topic. I'll send them a link. They'll come back after 3-4 days and say, you know what, that's exactly what I needed. Let's sign up. So no one's come through to me via YouTube, but it's helped me close deals.
Yeah, you did that with me when we were chatting one time. You said, "Yeah, I answered that. Go watch.
Let's go watch it. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. That was good. And I didn't feel like you were putting me off. I just feel like, hey, there's a deeper dive on that.
Yeah, because I don't want to ramble for 20 minutes, right? I mean,
yeah. You want to stay focused on where
you got colors and graphics and sound effects. They'll make it more entertaining, So
go ahead, Robert.
One way I dealt with the DIYers was I gave them a platform to DIY themselves.
in COVID times, many years ago. I was, times were really tough. I was actually losing some clients. They were going to Squarespace, Wix. They just wanted to build their own website. So I did a bit of research. I found a platform that had a white label capability. So I white labeled it. And so in addition to building custom WordPress websites, I tell my clients I also have another platform. You can go on, find your own theme, build your own website, and I'll be there if you need some help customizing it. And pretty much every single person that's done that, I've gone in and almost rebuilt their website, charging them, of course. But just to have that there for them kind of empowered them and gave them the make them feel like they were doing it. So that was definitely one way I kind of met that challenge. And sometimes I meet clients who have a Canva account and they want me to design within their Canva account, and it all depends. Typically I don't mind. Sometimes, those clients if they're trying to DIY it all, or if they just want the tools available. So I don't mind working with them either, but definitely prefer not to work in Canva if I can.
That came up. So Marta and I had a one-on-one, and I did a get to know you, Marta, and the same thing. But I'll tell you a story. Like when I first started, was working for my dad. He had a magazine publishing company, and at the time, word processors were yeah, can I give you my ad in Microsoft Word, and you just convert it? I'm like, Microsoft, what the heck? So like her relating it back to me in Canada, it's like, okay, they're going to use the tool. How can we guide them?
Yeah.
We know they're going to, how we have it was conversation. I also wanted to print out, I was going to wait till Marta joins the call, but Marta and I, and Christina, I think you did a swap of service. And Marta brought it to me and I was like, I don't know. Like, what do I have that I can give back to Marta? And then I wasn't looking for design services or anything. So I didn't know, but we did the exercise anyhow. I got something out of it. Like I learned something, so I did, so what I ended up doing for Marta, she has this audit that you go through that helps her kind of queue up get all the information she needs to do with a proper branding session. I did that even though I wasn't going to do the branding session, but it allowed me to kind of like tell her a little bit more, like just share my story. And I got some feedback from her that I immediately used. And I gave her some feedback too. It's like we almost did we met each other, talked deeply about things that we thought we could help each other with, went off, did a little bit of background work, and then met again and shared something. So I thought it was an interesting thing. My dad used to do a ton of barter work back in the day. There were barter exchanges and stuff like that.
I remember those. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think for us, like in ourselves and like helping each other out. Christina, what do you think? You did a swap of service with Martin. Like, how did you find that?
Yeah, we're kind of in the midst of it right now, but no, she's great. She's great at what she does. And no, you know what? I highly recommend it.
Doing the swap of service thing. It was interesting. Like I had to really it kind of caught me off guard. I had to really think and it got me thinking about how to make my services smaller for these sort of things, right? And it gave me some ideas how to do other things. So it was interesting. It was good. And I got to know
and it's
her
good to not
services
only
better.
even you could think you know what someone is looking for as well, but if you kind of start to understand their business and their pain points and their priorities, they might say, hey, you know what, where you could help is X or Y, or spending a little bit more time on this. And then I think it's just having kind of that right idea of hey, how many hours are we both putting in, so both people feel like it's a win-win. So yeah, no, good.
Yeah, and approaching equally. Yeah, go ahead, Vinny.
I'm going to say, I think it's also important as entrepreneurs to be able to recognize the difference between who's calling you because they want to DIY and who's calling you because they're just price shopping and wanting to see who you are, right? And be able to differentiate the two. Because in my world, there really is no DIY, right? I mean, there is, but it's all wrong when they do it. But and these guys are just price shopping, but they ask you a bunch of questions. And in the beginning, when I had tons of time on my hand, I would sit for an hour on the phone with them and just recite the entire tax act, right? Hoping they'd like me and want to engage me, but they never did. They disappeared. So now I've kind of learned that if they're price shopping or just kind of fluffing me, I'm very quick. In 2-3 minutes, I'm done with the phone call. So I don't know if you guys are gauging that as well and dropping people quickly, or are you taking your time to speak with them?
I think there's a way to do it. There's I'm thinking of those two guys I talk about, the two Bobs. One of the guys, Baker, I can only remember his last name, C. Baker. I don't want to say David C. Baker, but he wrote a book on selling expertise. Like it's one of his first books that he published, and it kind of gets into it's almost our problem wanting to share our knowledge and feeling like we're being quizzed on and having to prove ourselves, right? And I still get caught in,
Yeah.
because you have information you want to share, right? You want to I come from a family of three, my dad, I'm going to say three boys, including my dad. We would shoot the shit and show how much we know, and trying to like outshine each other. So it's a terrible habit that I developed from being a kid, and I was the youngest. So I was like, eager to get in there and show what I know. Right. But we want to take advantage and help people, but guide them in a way that you're not giving away free services. Go ahead, Dorothy.
Yeah, I totally get that. That was me back in the day until I put a system in place. So on my site, you've got to do that discovery with me. So it takes you through all of that. So what my mindset shift, the shift is I'm discovering what it is that you need. And so I can guide you to the right solution instead of telling you something that I think you need. So that's the way I have overcome that. I'm not here trying to sell you my expertise at the get-go. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from, what your needs are, and what you're looking for. So that's the first part of my process. And that starts from my discovery, from my intake form, and trying to understand where they are. And also to the point is, in part of my intake form is to establish what the budget is, how motivated they are to get going. So what's the budget? What's their timeline? What is the one thing they want to get from me? So I come to the discovery prepared with what they've given me, and then asking them questions so they can get to the solution themselves. And then that's when I can go in and say, here is what I have to offer. Does this work for you?
So that follows that design mindset in that you immediately take control so you can help them best, right? And
Yeah.
I really think clients like when you have a process and you look, I do this the same way. This is why I do this. This is the benefit you're going to get out of it, and drive them to. I'm going to jump like to Marino's comment. I was thinking this in the back of my mind. I didn't get to it. Talking about and I'm totally paraphrasing. So if I caught this wrong, apologies, Marino. You're talking about a little bit of a fear for somebody else just thinking they could take the pictures on their own, use this AI and get the benefit from it. But immediately what I was thinking of is like a photographer has to know where to stand, how to know where to be to get the right shot in the first place. If you don't have those sort of learned experiences, like as the Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell talks about the 10,000 hours of expertise, those things you're not going to know. The other thing is just like, I thought about, you talked about Howie Mandel. I was going to ask you, were you doing a portrait? Like just knowing the right conversation to have to get the right mood to be able to capture the personality. Like there's just like that 10,000 hours of like what Malcolm Gladwell comes with, the things you need to have in order to get to the expertise. That's what I feel like a design purpose, a human-centered sort of technology-driven. I think that's something we need to kind of we're the experts, right? If we're not guiding this thing, we're doing a disservice, right? So what does that look like for us? That's something I'm constantly working on, because I know for me, it's a big project when you're working with me. I better have some kind of process that goes from start to finish so that the client knows what to expect and knows what the engagement is going to be. I think that works for no matter what size project, what you're getting into, right? What's the first step for CPA? They may have that need, you'll take care of it, but then you want to reroute them back to, let's get back to, so I can really help you where I need to kind of get back. Not trying to preach there, but I was getting that sense. I don't know if that made sense to you, Marino,
Yeah, absolutely. And I completely agree. There does take some personality and experience. The only thing that recently freaked my ass, I would pardon the expression, but I know this gentleman who's in creative design. He literally was able to make a 2-minute video with just 3 pictures, an individual, their attire, and the city. And he was able to, and it was for a clothing brand. And basically, you got this attractive guy wearing a suit. He gets walking around, decides to go into a plane. He's got himself a parachute, jumps out of the plane. You see him flying around. You've got the advertisement on the back of the parachute. He's gliding down, lands inside of Toronto, the parachute disappears, he gets out, pops his suit off, and he's like in track pants or something. Now, it's not 100%, but it's like 85% there to say that's real. And it literally took him 25 hours to do it, just 3 images. Wow. And that's where it's like, obviously he's got the experience, he's got the creativity. AI is just going to make that process quicker. Like right now, you've got to really verbalize or type in what you want in that particular scene. But that's just going to become easier and quicker. Granted, like for portraits, and having that one-on-one conversation and dealing with lighting and stuff like that, that is definitely value. But long term, if somebody doesn't want to pay for that little extra, and you can get somebody who's maybe less or more economical to say, yeah, I can do your portrait. I can have a fake light on the back, put some, a third light behind for your hair light and a key light, make it work. And AI is going to have like a template to be able to say, here you go, here's your image. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. They've even talked like Hollywood, the concern of going to Brad Pitt saying, hey, you know what? I love your image. Can I borrow it for $100K for this movie and have AI be it's.
I've heard that. I heard lots of stories. I'm gonna end it on that note there, Marina. Like,
Well,
get us thinking about it for the next conversation. I got a 4 o'clock, and I know you guys got to get going. That was a great conversation, guys. Thanks, appreciate it.
Everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers.
That was great.